Book of Tobit, Chapter 1. The scroll of the words of Tobit, the son of Tobiel, the son of Ananiel, the son of Aduel, the son of Gabael, of the seed of Asiel, of the tribe of Naphtali, who in the days of Enemessar king of the Assyrians was carried away captive out of Thisbe, which is on the right side of Kedesh Naphtali in Galilee above Asher. I, Tobit, walked in the ways of truth and righteousness all the days of my life, and I did many kind acts to my countrymen and my nation who went with me into the land of the Assyrians, to Nineveh. When I was in my own country, in the land of Israel, while I was yet young, all the tribe of my father Naphtali fell away from the house of Jerusalem, which was chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, that all the tribes should sacrifice there. And the temple of the habitation of the Most High was hallowed, and built therein for all ages. All the tribes which fell away together sacrificed to the heifer Baal, and so did the house of my father Naphtali. I alone went often to Jerusalem at the feasts, as it has been ordained to all Israel by a perpetual decree, having the first fruits and the tenths of my increase, and that which was first shorn, and I gave them to the priests at the altar, the sons of Aaron. I gave a tenth part of all my increase to the sons of Levi, who ministered at Jerusalem. A second tenth part I sold away, and went and spent it each year at Jerusalem. A third tenth I gave to them, to whom it was appropriate, as Deborah, my father's mother, had commanded me, because I was left an orphan by my father. When I became a man, I took as wife Anna of the seed of our own family. With her I became the father of Tobias. When I was carried away captive to Nineveh, all my countrymen and my family ate of the bread of the nations, but I kept myself from eating, because I remembered God with all my soul. So the Most High gave me grace and favor in the sight of Enemessar, and I was his purchasing agent. And I went into Media and left 10 talents of silver in trust with Gabael, the brother of Gabrias, at Rages of Media. And when Enemessar was dead, Sennacherib his son reigned in his place. In his time, the highways were troubled, and I could no longer go into Media. In the days of Enemessar, I did many kind acts to my countrymen. I gave my bread to the hungry, and my garments to the naked. If I saw any of my race dead, and thrown out on the wall of Nineveh, I buried him. If Sennacherib the king killed any, when he came fleeing from Judea, I buried them privately, for in his wrath he killed many, and the bodies were sought for by the king, and were not found. But one of the Ninevites went and showed to the king concerning me how I buried them and hid myself. And when I knew that I was sought for to be put to death, I withdrew myself for fear. And all my goods were forcibly taken away, and there was nothing left to me, save my wife Anna and my son Tobias. No more than 55 days passed before 2 of his sons killed him, and they fled into the mountains of Ararat. And Esarhaddon, his son, reigned in his place, and he appointed Ahikar, my brother Anel's son, over all the accounts of his kingdom and over all his affairs. Ahikar requested me, and I came to Nineveh. Chapter 2. Now Ahikar was cupbearer, keeper of the signet, steward, and overseer of the accounts. Esarhaddon appointed him next to himself, but he was my brother's son. Now when I had come home again, and my wife Anna was restored to me, and my son Tobias, in the celebration of Pentecost, which is the holy celebration of the 7 weeks, there was a good dinner prepared for me, and I sat down to eat. I saw abundance of meat, and I said to my son, "Go and bring whatever poor man you find of our countrymen, who is mindful of the Lord. Behold, I wait for you." Then he came and said, "Father, one of our race is strangled and has been cast out in the marketplace." Before I had tasted anything, I sprang up and took him up into a chamber until the sun had set. Then I returned, washed myself, ate my bread in heaviness, and remembered the prophecy of Amos, as he said, "Your feasts will be turned into mourning, and all your mirth into lamentation." So I wept, and when the sun had set, I went and dug a grave, and buried him. My neighbors mocked me, and said, "He is no longer afraid to be put to death for this matter, and yet he fled away. Behold, he buries the dead again." The same night I returned from burying him, and slept by the wall of my courtyard, being polluted. And my face was uncovered. I did not know that there were sparrows in the wall. My eyes were open, and the sparrows dropped warm dung into my eyes, and white films came over my eyes. I went to the physicians, and they did not help me, but Ahikar nourished me until I went into Elimai.